All right, so like picture this, okay? You're scrolling online, just like doing your thing,
Yeah.
and bam, you see this video of someone making dinner, but they're using this like crazy looking spiralizer thing.
Ah.
And suddenly you're not just like interested in zoodles or I need that spiralizer. I need it in my life.
It's amazing, right, how you go from just watching to wanting to buy something because of like some random person online that's user-generated content or UGC, and it's changing the game for marketing.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that whole spiralizer thing. That wasn't my first time getting influenced by UGC. I'm remembering a while back when everyone was posting about those big chunky knit blankets.
Oh, yeah, yeah, the arm knitted throws, everyone was making
I
those.
spent so much time watching those DIY videos, like convinced I could, make one too. Let's just say my knitting skills, they weren't as good as I thought they'd be, but it just shows you how UGC really like gets to that human need to connect with something real.
Definitely. These days, people are kind of over traditional advertising. They don't always trust it. So UGC has become super important for building that trust, showing you're authentic. Because let's be honest, we're way more likely to listen to a regular person's good review than some fancy ad campaign.
It's like they say, a good recommendation is worth a lot. But now it's not just one friend telling you, it's like thousands of people online.
Exactly. UGC can reach so many people. Think about it. Just one tweet showing someone loving a product can be seen by millions of people. Like, that's incredible reach.
And it's not just tweets, right? It's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook reviews. It's everywhere.
You got it. From those artsy coffee photos with the Starbucks logo to GoPro videos of people doing insane adventures, UGC is everywhere. What makes it so powerful is that it's real people, real experiences shaping how we see a brand.
There's this stat from Nielsen that really proves your point. 92% of people, they trust UGC more than like regular advertising.
That just shows you the power of keeping it real. People want to hear real stories, relate to experiences, and get recommendations from people they feel like they know.
Yeah, like when you're looking up a restaurant online and you scroll past the professional photos to find the ones from like other people who ate there.
Right. Those are the ones that get you.
Totally.
And smart brands, they're picking up on this. They get that UGC is about more than just showing off their stuff. It's about building a community, making people feel connected.
So it's not just about like throwing a random user photo on your website and calling it a day. There's more to it,
For
right?
sure. There's a real art to making UGC work for you.
And that's what we're going to dig into today. The why, the how, and like the massive potential UGC has to completely transform your brand.
It's like that saying, right? The proof's in the pudding, or in this case, the UGC.
Exactly. And the interesting thing is there's actually a lot of psychology behind why UGC works so well on us. It's not just about seeing the product, it's about how our brains are wired.
Okay, so break it down for me. What's going on in our heads when we see someone online raving about a product?
Well, first, there's this thing called social proof. We're naturally inclined to follow the crowd, you know? We want to see what other people are doing, especially when we're making decisions.
Right.
So when we see tons of good reviews or everyone using a certain product, our brain thinks, oh, I should be doing that too.
It's like when you're walking down the street and everyone's looking up at something. You can't help but look, too, right?
Exactly. It's that fear of missing out, that FOMO. UGC is really good at triggering that, especially with younger people who are always seeing new trends online.
Yeah, I'll admit I get sucked into those limited edition releases or flash sales on Instagram.
See? And that feeling of, I gotta have it now,
Mm.
that's what good UGC can do. But it's more than just FOMO. It also connects with our need to belong, to feel like we're part of something. When we see someone's real experience, it makes the brand feel more human.
It's like that campaign I saw, I think it was a travel company. They asked people to share pictures of themselves experiencing different cultures.
Uh-huh.
And they used this specific hashtag.
Okay. What kind of photos were they?
Oh, they weren't just those typical touristy pictures. They were really authentic moments, like people having dinner with local families or taking part in traditional things, really getting into the culture. And it made me want to book a trip right then, not just to see the places, but to have those same experiences.
That's what I'm talking about. That's UGC telling a story. It's not about the product. It's about connecting with the viewer on a deeper level. And when you can do that, you turn customers into fans, people who really love your brand.
So we've talked about the psychology, how UGC affects us. But what does that mean for businesses? How does this actually help them?
Oh, the benefits are huge. First off, UGC gives you tons of authentic content. Instead of spending a fortune on fancy marketing stuff, brand can use the creativity of their own customers. It's cheaper, it can grow with you, and you're always getting new ideas.
It's like having a team of content creators from all over the world, all working because they genuinely love your brand.
Exactly. And this user-generated content, it's not just sitting there. It gets results. We're talking more people visiting websites, better rankings on search engines, and more sales.
Hold on, let's break that down. How does UGC make all that happen?
Think about it. When someone's researching online, they're hit with info from everywhere. But then they see UGC. It could be a great review, a helpful video, a customer story that inspires them. And that's what makes them pay attention. It's like that extra bit of trust they needed.
It's like that little push to go from just looking to actually buying.
Right. And for search engines, UGC is gold. They love seeing real engagement. It tells them your brand is valuable. And that means you show up higher in search results, more people find you organically.
So it's not just about making good content. It's about making content that makes other people want to talk about your brand.
Now you're getting it. But it goes even further. UGC can seriously boost sales. When people see real people using your product and loving it, they're more likely to buy it themselves.
It's like that final nudge to go from maybe to sold.
And let's not forget about loyalty. When you encourage UGC, you're building a community around your brand. Customers can share, connect, feel like they're part of something bigger.
So it's like building a fan base, people who are really loyal to your brand.
Exactly. And those loyal customers, they'll tell everyone about you way better than any ad could.
It's like word of mouth, but supercharged.
Yeah.
But let's be real, it can't all be perfect, right? What about the downsides? What could go wrong with UGC?
Yeah, it's not always easy. One big thing is quality control. When anyone can create content for your brand, you might get stuff that doesn't really fit your image.
Like, imagine a company wants pictures of people enjoying their new energy drink, and someone sends in a photo using it for some crazy prank.
Exactly. You need some rules, right? You want real stuff, but it has to reflect your brand, so maybe some moderation is needed.
So it's not about controlling everything, but giving some direction.
Right. And while we're on the topic of potential problems, there's also intellectual property. If someone posts about your product, doesn't mean you can just use their photo.
So no grabbing tweets and putting them on billboards without asking.
Probably not a good idea. Always get permission, give credit, respect their work. It's not just the law, it's about building trust, treating people right.
Treating people right is good for business anyway, isn't it?
Couldn't agree more. And speaking of being genuine, let's talk about faking it.
The dark side of UGC.
Yeah, it's tempting to make up UGC to look more popular or trendy, but trust me, it backfires. People can spot a fake MO a mile away, one hint of that, and you lose trust instantly.
It's like they say honesty is the best policy.
Exactly. Real UGC, when it's genuine, that's what's powerful.
So for brands wanting to do this right, where do they even start?
Start with encouraging participation. Get people excited to share their experiences. Maybe run a contest, use a catchy hashtag, or show off customer stories on your social media. Make it easy and fun for them to engage with your brand.
Like that time, a coffee company asked people to get creative with latte art using their beans.
Perfect example. Tap into that playful energy, that desire to share your creativity with the world.
What about brands that are a bit hesitant to let go of control? Any advice for them?
Start small. Put customer reviews on your website. Use UGC photos in your emails. Once you see it working, you'll feel better about trying more.
It's about building confidence step by step.
Exactly. And remember, UGC isn't just some fad. It's how people connect with brands now. It's about real voices, real stories, and seeing your customers as your biggest asset.
This has been eye-opening. We talked about why UGC works on our brains, the good stuff it does for brands, and even what to watch out for. So, as we wrap up, what's the one big takeaway you want to leave with our listeners?
In a world full of marketing noise, being real is what stands out. And what's more real than people sharing their own experiences? Use the power of UGC, let your audience tell your story, and see what happens.
Perfectly said. And to our listeners, your voice matters. Your experiences are valuable. Don't be afraid to share your story. Talk to the brands you love and be a part of the UGC world. You never know who you might inspire.